Board on this computer. Okay, there you go. We're good. We're good.
Good?
Yes, sir. We are up. We are up. We are up. Welcome back to the Nothing Less Podcast, the football episode. I am your host, Alexis. I got my co-host, David. What's up, David? We just
What's
recorded
up?
like forever.
Ready to record?
Yeah, an hour ago, was it?
Yeah.
Look, man, we fucking
It's about
recorded this yesterday, and then I don't know what happened. You know. But we back on. We're gonna give you all a quick little episode, little nice tightly squeezed episode. But before that, obviously we're gonna have another episode coming out. It's like it's a dope, nice little human to human combo. Not no sports talk. It was just life talk. With our homeboy Adan. When that one drops, hopefully y'all get to listen to it. It's a banger. It's like a nice hour and change long, or it might be an hour flat. I don't know, but hopefully it drops at the same time.
Yeah.
Week 11. As I think every podcast that's been on, as mentioned, it was a pretty good week, but there was mishaps as per team and also injuries. Dave, you'd want to start with a game that you liked from week 11?
Yeah. We go Green Bay and Indiana and Indianapolis. My bad. I say Indiana. But yeah, Packers and Colts. Fuck the pack. Fuck pack. Fuck. But, yeah, dude. Now, as you can see, it was a great game all around. Very close. Very towards the end. But the Colts were able to edge them out, man. And it's crazy too, because with the Packers leading that division, you expect them to to kind of pull away from a game like this, but the Colts are looking like a real deal, man. As the episode that we did prior to this one, the one that didn't go through, that one we're talking about how the AFC is just so tough this year. It's looking the most tough it's ever looked, in decades, dare I say decades. But I mean, it's looking quite tough, and the Green Bay Packers, what are they, second seed in the NFC?
They are the second seed. Yeah,
second seed. Who's number one?
Go Saints, go!
Go Saints, go!
Yeah,
but yeah, and you expect them to win a game like this, especially they were home. Oh no, wait, they were away. My bad.
Yeah,
sorry. They're away, but the mismatch is there, and you expect them to run the hell out of Aaron Jones. He only got like 10 touches, but he made good do of them, 41 yards. But I mean, yeah, I expect them to run them just a little bit more because the defense was just there for it, but they didn't. I mean, they still had a very close game with them, 31-34. But yeah, I didn't expect the Packers to drop the ball like this.
Yeah. What's interesting about before I fucking mix this, fuck around with this mic a little bit. What's interesting about the Packers is that I feel like when they have a bad game, and I think even a 34-31 was the score, right? It doesn't look like it was like faulty at points.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there was a lot of moments where you just wonder if Aaron Rodgers has enough help throughout, and also just play calling. Also, Aaron Jones is a big part of that offense, and the fact that he only got, let's just say, 10 touches is kind of, I guess, let me just give a big word out, appalling. Not a big word, but a smart word. So
that's a smart word for you.
Some yeah, man, you gotta switch it up. People don't know what appalling means. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's true. People don't know what that means. Throw it out there, and people are gonna freak out. But yeah, I think that's one. But you take away more for, I think, for Indianapolis as far as Philip Rivers. I don't think a lot of people trust him as a quarterback right now because he's he's just immobile, and but the thing with them is their defense has just been stepping up and stepping up, and those off-season acquisitions have been paying off and giving that pass rush a much-needed improvement. You could even throw in, like, I guess, a veteran leadership aspect with Justin Houston being there. But yeah, I mean the AFC is tough. It's a good conference. Much better. I think it's much better as far as maybe powerhouses that can be made than, like, I guess, the NFC, because I think there's a lot more good teams in the NFC than there is, I guess, great teams. And then
Yeah,
AFC, you have like the Chiefs that are just, they're running roughshod.
balling.
Yeah, and well, you could say even like who am I missing? The Pittsburgh Steelers, 10-0, and we're not so hyped about the 10-0 as far as victories are concerned. They're still, I mean, they're a powerhouse and they're a great franchise, a great organization. Most of these teams have a great organization and they make good decisions. But yeah, it's a great victory for Indianapolis, setting them up for a big game against the Titans, which also got a big victory in our other big game that they against the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens coming off I would say, I guess in the best terms, clusterfuck of give me a sec, clusterfuck.
Okay.
Sorry, we had a mishap with audio, but
Sorry about that, guys. That was my fault.
So yeah, I mean, it's just the powerhouse teams that they had, and then the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens were thought to be one of the powerhouse teams in the AFC, and they've had a clusterfuck of moments throughout the last few weeks. And they were put against the Titans, which did knock them out last year in the playoffs, and were knocked off again by the same person and the same reason, the run defense and King Henry. Derrick Henry ran for a buck, was it like buck 30, something like that? And he won with a game-winning touchdown in overtime. Baltimore is looking very iffy, and you thought with those off-season acquisitions and mid-season with Yannick Ngakoue, you thought they'd be one of the better defenses in the league, and they were early part of the year. And you're just seeing just a lack of in on offense. They have a run game, but what
What?
what
What?
what? I'm
No,
kidding.
I'm good.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. You thought I
Uh,
left, right?
and then they have a great run game, but their passing offense it leaves a lot to be desired. Even though they have a great tight end, and that's Lamar Jackson's go-to. They need to find
Yeah,
somewhere
Mark
else to throw
Andrews.
the ball.
Hey,
Yeah,
I mean,
Mark
they've
Andrews.
already took a step in the right direction. You know what I'm talking about? Our boy, actually.
Yeah, man.
Our boy. But yeah, it's crazy because as you saw in the game, I'm not gonna touch on him too much, but I mean, how can I not? He was a second leading guy in receptions this game. Just one below Mark Andrews. He had 4 receptions for 28 yards, and I could see that they want to sprinkle him in a little bit, but he's kind of taking baby steps, first.
But you need to throw
I
out the
think
name. No one knows who we're talking about.
talking about that boy, Des Bryant,
Oh, Willie Snead.
88, Willie Snead. Willie
Nah,
Snead, I mean, he ain't it, bro. Let's be real.
he's like one of their better receivers.
Yeah, exactly. That's saying a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
practice squad. Des Bryant now in he got activated.
Yeah, and it's I think 2 of his passes just came off of hitches. If you guys don't know what the hitch route is, just where you stay on the line, they throw you the ball, get as many yards as you can. And yeah, I mean, I would love to see him more implicated in the offense. And as you can see, they want to. They're taking little steps, and especially with that receiving core. I mean, they're not the most talked about, but who was it? Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. You saw him on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that, or he's like, why do you have soldiers if you don't even use them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, this game he had 0 reception. He had a goose egg of a night. Even though Lamar did target him 3 times, I mean, I would like to see how he's gonna respond to that. I mean, I think the game prior to that, I believe he had like 2 catches, maybe 2 or 3. I think. Hold on, let me fact check myself.
Yeah, I think with Hollywood Brown, he's kind of like Henry Ruggs.
Yeah,
he's just a speedster.
speedster. Yeah,
Yeah, and he wants to give himself a little more pep on his step with that type of talk. But sometimes it's just like that. 3 receptions. You should have made it more. I mean, you didn't catch anything. You
yeah,
dropped the goose egg. I don't know what you want to say. And most of these people that just wanna you need to chill out sometimes. This is like your
yeah.
second year. You're making it seem like you're already a perennial All Pro Bowl wide receiver.
I
And
mean, it's because Lamar Jackson had an awesome year last year. He had like a MVP year. But as we were saying in that last footage, um, this was supposed to be Lamar Jackson's revenge year, and I just think it's been a big dud as of the last 3 weeks. Um, and like this game was just a big game for both teams. Both teams had the same record, 6-3, and especially with the AFC North being as a competitive division as it is, the AFC South, are the Titans are leading, right? AFC South,
they're
or is
both
it? Oh no, they're tied with the Colts.
they're
Yeah.
tied with the Colts, and both are having divisional games this week.
Mm-hmm. So
Well, the Steelers and the Ravens are on Thursday for
mhm.
Thanksgiving.
That grub on.
And it's the night game too.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I wonder who's got the morning game or the noon game.
Usually the Lions.
Yeah, it's the Lions and somebody else.
Usually.
Yeah, well,
But yeah,
like the Lions facing somebody.
the
I'm
Lions
gonna check right now.
themselves
Themselves.
still lose.
Oh, against the Texans. All right.
That's a boring game.
Yeah.
Well,
It's because there's nothing. It's not boring as in gameplay. It's more boring like as big picture stuff. Because I mean, none of them are really like fighting for anything. Because the Texans, even if they win, they're still like 3 games behind the Browns and yeah, both teams. The Browns, the fucking
Titans and Colts.
the Titans and Colts. Yeah, and they're well, yeah, 3 games behind, and that's because they would need to lose 3 games, and they would need to win out. So it's kind of a highly unlikely, still possible, highly unlikely. And the Lions, I mean, they're not out of it, but
If they would have
it's
won this
highly
last game,
unlikely.
they would have made
It,
it.
it would have been, yeah, it would have been more interesting.
But yeah, no, I mean these games that are coming down to the wire, or not even down to the wire as far as season schedule is concerned, they're critical, and everyone knows that. But some of these teams, I don't know what it is, and it's kind of like Baltimore. They're 6-4 now. They have a big game against Pittsburgh, and it means more to Baltimore than it does for Pittsburgh. But as far as if you're looking at numbers wise, Pittsburgh loses to Baltimore and wins out, it means nothing. They're still gonna be the number 1 seed, and Baltimore really needs to win all their games to even make the playoffs. It seems like, because you got a Cleveland Brown team that's 7-3, and they're holding it down for a bit, even though they're not playing the best football. I think they're doing enough to make it happen, and I don't know, man. I think Baltimore is gonna miss the playoffs.
Yep, I think so too. I could kind of back you up on that one. I think I don't know, just it's been lackluster lately for the Ravens, and it looked so promising in the first 3 weeks, and that's why we would say in previous episodes where like this week is deceiving. I mean, I couldn't predict the Ravens, being in the spot that they are now back then, but you're starting to see all these teams, like the Colts weren't looking so great early weeks. The Ravens were looking great. The Bears were looking great, and then now it's just like.
But to go with what we've mentioned, if you hear us talk about these teams, most of these teams that we talk about, we've mentioned, they look like phonies. They look like this and that. They don't look as strong or even the best to their abilities. They're playing really close games, and obviously there's some teams that we put so much money on and they've let us down. Kind of like, let's say, for Buffalo. We put a lot of time and effort on praising Buffalo, and then Buffalo decides to lay 3 eggs in a row. But um, they're slowly but surely becoming that good team that we know they can be. It's just obviously that was just an example, but that's kind of the idea. When we talk about like Baltimore just looks like a good team, like on paper, but you obviously don't play on paper. You play on the field, and you're noticing maybe the issues that they have internally. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, 6-4. You didn't expect that. They were 14-2 last year. And like I said, I mean, they're playing a Pittsburgh team that has nothing to lose, or was it nothing to win by this game? And it's a must-win game for Baltimore. Uh, but going into another game that felt like a very big game and must-win for both teams is the Sunday night game that NBC had, which was Kansas City going into Las Vegas against the Raiders. Um, I say a must win for both is because Kansas City was 8-1, if I'm not mistaken, 9-1.
Mm-hmm. 8-1.
And Las Vegas
Going
was
in.
6-3, with the Vegas giving Kansas City their first loss, or first and only loss. And Patrick Mahomes had thrown one pick. That one pick came against the Raiders their last game. Jeff Heath, former Cowboy, last week had 2 picks. So they're making it a little, I guess, like a storyline amongst NBC. But what were your thoughts on that game, Dave? What do you think about it? And also, what do you think happens next, like as far as the team wise, like Raiders and the Chiefs?
So this game was a tough game all throughout, and it's one of those things that I don't I don't know I don't know if whether the Raiders play has gone down whenever they face somebody that's non-divisional, or or um or their play goes up when they face somebody that's divisional rival. And so I I think this game, it was anybody could have won this game as it went down to the wire, went down to the last play, and Derek Carr throwing a pick at the very end. But I mean, it just shows how tough this AFC is, the AFC West, and what are they, second place, right? The Raiders are.
Mm-hmm.
I It just shows how tough it is, and uh and the Raiders, I mean, they kind of I don't want to say it. See, like this is crazy because I could say like they contained Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes had like almost 400 yards. And but this game, like the stats are for Patrick Mahomes, but watching the game, it's kind of like the Raiders were never out of it, and they're kind of it was tough for Patrick to get those yards and get those and get those balls. But pause. But but I think it was just a great game all around. Anybody's game. Derek Carr looked pretty good. He had three touchdowns, 1 interception. But I think, and for the future, looking for for both teams, I think Kansas City, they're going to the AFC title. I still think though, even though they're 6-4 and things are starting to look a little like dim for them, I still think they make playoffs, but they get that 7th seed. If not, uh, yeah, 7th seed, or if not 6th. With the playoff, as we all know, playoffs are going to be
7
extended.
teams.
7 teams going in. So I think the Raiders are able to pull off to go into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, the game, honestly, if you're asking me, it was one of the better quarterback played games this year.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes played fucking out of his mind. Derek Carr did too. I mean, he was making some plays. I remember he had one play that comes to mind is he had the pass rush was coming in, and a pass rusher was about to hit him, and he throws a swing route, and he hits him like perfectly, and the tight end I think it was Derek Carrier, he got like 15 yards, but it was like one of those plays that looks like dead, like it's dead to rights. There's nothing you can do with it, and just knowing where your weapons are, you know, you make a play. And it felt like that with Patrick, but as far as his weapons are just that much better,
Mm-hmm.
like Darren Waller is a top 3 tight end in the league, right? This
Yeah.
season. But
Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelce, I think, is the number 1 tight end in the league. And you saw it this past Sunday. The guy was catching everything. I mean, he was doing toe drags. He was catching all the dirty catches down the middle. And I mean, he had the game winning touchdown. And then you go Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill looked like a straight savage. I mean, the thing with Tyreek Hill is the fact that he's not open most of the time because they're putting so much coverage on him. I mean, because
Yep.
he could run every route in the book. It seems like, and he's kind of like Julio. He knows his time will come when it comes to receptions. I don't think I've heard Tyreek Hill complain about his touches and all that. So then that opens up, like, with that much talent, like they start spreading the ball with Demarcus Robinson or Pringle, and it's just the team looks so complete. Like, it's so awesome to watch Kansas City because they spread the ball. It's kind of like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He ran the ball, and then you had Le'Veon Bell, and then you saw Damian Williams, and it's it's so much horsepower that they have. When it
Yeah.
comes to the Raiders, it's just they're missing that number 1. Nelson Aguilar has had his good year. He hasn't dropped a lot of balls, but the fact is he's not a number 1. Hunter Renfro's a good receiver. Um, he just doesn't have the receiver top flight speed, but he's a good pass catcher. He just needs someone, man. I mean, Darren Waller, I mean, cool, he's your number 1, but it's the same conversation we're having with
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson. Like, not that you can have your tight end as a number 1, but I think you'd rather
It's
have a wide receiver as a
a
number.
receiver. Yeah. And it's wild because they wanted Henry Ruggs to be that guy, but I don't think he is. And I remember watching the draft, and I'm like, oh, CD's going to the Raiders. CD's like, I wanted CD, right? So, and then so I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I think they're gonna get Henry Ruggs. If they do, great, like awesome, like, you know what I mean? That's like, I wanted CD to fall as much as he did, and when they got him, I was shocked, but at the same time, I knew that they were, because the Raiders, they love their speedsters, especially like when they draft.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's crazy now that, like, with the season that CD's having and the season that Henry Ruggs is having, especially with the default in quarterbacks, I think CD was a better choice, but that's just the hole that the Raiders kind of dug themselves in.
Yeah,
But
I would
but I
agree on
mean,
that for sure.
it's not but they could still pull it off. I mean, they still have Josh Jacobs, but the whole blah. I always mess up when I talk, but um for the whole game they kind of had him on lock. I think they tried to kind of feed him the ball, but I mean, nothing really was there.
Yeah,
They're
no.
kind of
I like that. I like that Raiders offense though. That's the thing. Like,
mhm.
they're they remind me of Kansas City, where they just spread the ball to every receiver, and obviously you throw it to your tight end. But you're just missing that number 1. Maybe
Yeah,
that opens up. But I mean, I think if people look at obviously the stat sheet, they see the interception, Derek Carr, obviously just take it off. 3
yeah,
touchdowns, no
you just do it.
interceptions. He looked great, honestly. He played one of his better games I've seen him play in his career, I'll be honest. And it's just the lack of defense that they have. And they just need to grow. Like, some of their young players, young men, they're like around my age. Some of the young players, they just need to mature as far as maybe just play a little more reps, understand their role, and also maybe even just understand the situation. Don't some it's kind of like the Tampa Bay game, which we'll get into as well. I think they're too aggressive.
Yeah.
They're too aggressive and they want to attack the ball, and sometimes, you know, I guess like let's get into it. Like the Tampa Bay and Bucks and the Rams game, it's just like their corners get too aggressive and they want to how do I say it? Like I don't know, just get to the ball as quick as possible, and then like they'll hit them with like a hitch route or whatever, and then they're like a hitch and go, and then they're open by 15 yards, and it's happened to the Bucks so much. Uh, but what did you think about the game? The Rams won the game against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are 7-4, if I'm not mistaken. The Rams are now in first place in the
7-3
NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on it?
Yeah, it was a wild game as advertised, and just anybody could have won this game, but the Rams, man, they're looking like they're, I don't want to say it out loud, or I'll just say it. They're looking kind of reminiscent of their 2018 year where they went to the Super Bowl.
That's what I've been saying, man. That's what I've been saying.
They found their groove in their running game.
But their pass game, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, they both had above 100 yards.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. I was like, it's weird because you don't expect them to do that, because just the way they're built in that offense, you expect more run, but more running than passing. But man, it just if it's there, it's there, and it looked perfect, and Cooper Kupp, man, and both of them. Speaking of that, both of them went over 10 receptions each. Both of them went over, so I think Cooper have it here. Cooper had 11 and Robert had 12.
Can I just say that I felt like the Rams are built like how the Bears want to be? Like the Bears.
How so?
Like, see, the thing is, they both have a top. I'm gonna go with the Rams having a top 5 defense because I feel like they played like that. They have a top 5 defense, and the Rams defense. I mean, the Rams offense is not explosive. Like as far as like beat you over the top type of shit. But they maneuver the ball around like so nice to the point where like when they run the bootleg and all that stuff, it like that's their thing, like I feel like that's their, like the Rams are the bootleg team. They bootleg into a stretch, or whatever the fuck, bootleg. They have that type of picture, and the Bears, they just don't have an identity. And they have the type of receivers that can do that, like an Allen Robinson. He's not as explosive, but he could just, he could run like anything. And then you have Mooney, like that's like one of their speedy receivers. They who's his name? Anthony Miller as well. They have like that type of body, like of like the receivers. They match out to me like the Rams do. It's just experience, I guess. Maybe Robert Woods. I mean, he played in Buffalo, and I mean he did good there, but I don't know. I think I don't know.
I just think it's like
it's hard to explain. I don't know. I just think that's what they want to be, or that's what they should like.
But it just doesn't work, right?
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. If I explained it improper, I apologize. But
no, yeah, I get you. You see the Bears. Yeah, I'm starting to get your analogy now. The Bears, they're built exactly the way the Rams are, but I just think their offense isn't there, and that's their defense is there. It's well over. I don't want to say top 5. I just think it's just a little, probably like top 7, top 10 for sure. It's top 10.
No, honestly, it is. Their numbers are honestly, they could be ranked even like number 2, but it's for the fact that they're on the field for so many times. Their numbers,
good. They go a little up. But yeah, their offense. I mean, I don't know what they need to do. I mean, they're probably if I were them, I'd probably beef up their receiving core. I mean, their running core looks good, and you could tell they wanna the way how they built that offense, they want to use their running backs as receivers as well. They want to run screens. They want to run, maybe go empty set a couple times with a running back. Use the running back like how Todd Gurley was used in 2018.
Yeah.
But it's just not working out if you don't have any receivers that threaten you deep or threaten you any receiver that could threaten man coverage. So
you know what they miss? They're missing consistency from their wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like consistent catching, consistent just yard gainage. Like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, they're not gonna beat you over the top. But the fact is that they get open enough to get 5 to 7 yards, and they keep catching the ball. They catch for 8 receptions, 7 yards. That's like 60 yards. That type of thing. And they like Robert Woods. He's Mr. Fucking. What do you call it? He always catches. Or they always give him the ball. That's why they lead the NFL in like rushing by wide receivers.
The sweeps.
The sweeps, the wide receiver sweeps, man. They get their ball like that, but the thing is, it's like they already do it so many times. It's like repetition,
Mm-hmm.
And you could see where like I don't want to keep just dogging Chicago, but it's ideally like
he's gonna get pissed, bro.
Nah, he'll understand. But like they can do all these things because that's what they have. They have speedsters, but they just can't catch. Something about it just can't catch. Allen Robinson is the best receiver they have, and that's it.
He's a rookie.
Who, Allen Robinson?
Yeah, isn't he a rookie?
Fuck no, he's been in the league for like 4 or 5 years. He was with Jacksonville.
Really? Oh, that's right. Oh my god, why am I saying he's a rookie?
Yeah, no, but yeah. Question: do you think? What do you think about Tampa Bay?
Tampa.
With this loss.
With this loss, I think it would be tough, but I think they bounce back. I think they bounce back in a big way, and because you never know what Tampa Bay you're gonna get. Like that big loss. That was a shocker because we're for the longest time, the Bears were sorry to shit on the Bears again, but the Bears are 5-0, and we're like, no, like they're a phony team. Or no, they're 4-0. My bad. They're 4-0, and we're like, no, they're a phony team. Like, there's no way they're gonna beat the Bucks, and they beat the Bucks, and we're like what? Like maybe because the Bucks are a good team. They're starting to get their groove, but I mean, with the loss to a tough team, it's kind of hard to say that, but I think they bounce back in a big way though.
But they've lost 2 out of last 3.
But 2 out of the last. Oh, but I mean, if you look at it, like they got dog walked by the Saints, 34-7, and then they face the Panthers. Yeah, okay. They face the Panthers. They dog walk the Panthers, and then they face the Rams, go a close game, and lose by 3.
They're 2-2 in their last 4 games, and they could have lost 3 out of 4 if it wasn't for the Giants not knowing how to play call.
Yeah, and then they have the Chiefs next, so that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, the Chiefs have a really bad schedule, not a really tough schedule in the last 5 games.
Yeah.
So it'll get interesting for them. To me, Tampa, it's just it's like you want to give them the praise, man, because you should. They have Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Gronk, Brady, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. That's just the offense. And then you name the defense. You got Ndamukong Suh, JPP. You got Shaq Barrett. You got Levante David. Was it Devin Bush? No, Devin White.
No, it's Whitehead. No, Devin Whitehead.
Devin White. Yeah, it's Devin White. And they have killers. And the fact that they're 7-4, which is obviously it's no small feat. 7-4, 7-4. But the fact is they're not playing to that. They should be higher than that, and they're not.
I'm getting mixed up with Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is. I'm trying to think. Like when I when I see them play, you see the explosiveness they can have, and then the weeks that they falter, it's just, I don't know, inconsistency. And Bruce Arians, I mean, I think it could be a 2 seasons and out with him with Tampa, because I feel like this is a Super Bowl and bust type of thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
You bring in these killers and you don't win. It's disappointing.
Yeah. Well, and what would you think their biggest falter is?
I think it's their defense. Even though I like the defense a lot, it's kind of the secondary, man. The secondary was a question coming into the season, and it's still a question during the season, because the thing with them is just they're young and they're aggressive. Like like one of the better corners, Bunting is there, and I forget the other one. And even like their safety, Antoine Winfield. But the thing is with them, it's they play the ball. They wanna attack the ball and this and that. And these veteran wide receivers are making some plays, and they're getting open by 15 yards. Giving up big plays, and yeah, it's costing them a lot. It's costing them. I mean, like I mentioned, the Giants. The Giants literally could have won the game if it wasn't for some bad. It was bad play calling from the Giants, because they had toasted that secondary. So yeah, I think that's gonna be their kryptonite. If they don't at least strengthen up on that.
Yeah.
As we close out week 11, what do you think? As we go into week 12 or even the Thanksgiving games, what are you looking for? Man, fuck that. What are you most thankful for, Dave?
Most thankful that family's getting healthy. I made it this far.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and nothing, man. I'm just able to do this podcast. Have fun, and I still haven't been. I still haven't been positive for COVID, so that's the thing. Crossing my fingers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Just thankful for health, friends, and family.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I haven't been positive. I've been around people that have been positive, but I'm thankful my immune system for some reason has been pretty good.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, it's been a tough year. I mean, I ain't gonna front. I mean, family and all that, but it's been getting better, man. Or at least I think it is. And I'm just trying to stay positive.
Yeah.
But that I think I guess this will be episode 20 and the other one be just a special edition type of thing.
Bonus.
Yeah, but this is the episode 20 of the Nothing Less podcast. Again, I'm your host, Alexis. I got co-host Dave, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Peace.